Hey guys, you're right in time for summertime. Today we have here.
My name is Kendra G.
I researched about you and found out that you are also a journalist. And I just interviewed Charlamagne a few days ago, and it's been a very fun interview. So I know this one will also be fun as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You know what? I bombarded her interview with Charlamagne. He's one of my very good friends, and I was actually meeting him. We were going out to dinner right before you did that interview.
Oh, wow.
So yes, that's how we met. Actually, shout out to Darkness. That's what I call him, Darkness. We love being dark-skinned people, so we salute it every time we talk to each other, and we say Darkness.
Okay.
Yes.
So our first question is: It is your first time here in Ghana?
No, I came to Ghana in 2019 for the year of the return. That was my first time, and I was blown away. As a person that travels a lot, what I really enjoyed the most was it's the true definition of all black everything. Like literally all black everything. So I was in heaven, and then also just my first time being in Africa was a dream come true, amazing. And as an African American, is what they call us, you know, we've been taught about our history, but you really have to come and experience it for yourself to really know your history.
Yes.
So yes.
What made you like it so much to come back, though?
Well, again, I'm going to be back multiple times, but this trip in particular is all about Chance the Rapper, who is one of my favorite human beings on this planet. I've been around celebrities for more than 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Chance is different. He's a different human being. Also with me living in Chicago and Chance being from Chicago, you know, his family truly is like my adopted family. And literally Taylor Bennett, his brother, his father, Mr. Bennett, his mother, Mrs. Bennett, and Chance, anything they ever will do, I will always be there to support them.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you. I want to know 2 beautiful facts about Ghana you want to tell the diaspora.
Okay, so the one thing I loved about Ghana the most when I first came is I love to dance. So, like, I love to dance, and that's just what it is, child. I can dance at any drop of the dime. And I remember I was in the market, and it was the first time I was here New Year's Eve, and they were just naturally dancing in the middle of the street, and I felt so at home because, like, as just, you know, we have this secret sauce, African Americans, black people, I should say in general, inside of our system that it cannot be explained. And I always just felt like I'm being my natural self. Like, people think I'm being extra, but in all honesty, I'm just being my natural self. But when I got to Ghana, I understood why my natural self seemed extra, because we were born with this. We were born to be extra. We were born to stand out. We were born to dance. We were born to make it out of any circumstance. So that's my first thing about Ghana. My poor baby. My weave is all up in her hair, child. We're going to get it together. But what was the other part of the question?
You have one more fact about Ghana to say.
Oh, more fact. And then this is not really Ghana, but I mean, I have to talk about it, the Elmina Castle. Something that everyone is doing once you come to Ghana is going to the slave. I hate to call it Elmina Castle. It should be called the Elmina Dungeon, because it's I want to say the oldest slave, or the largest and oldest slave dungeon, where literally the Africans here in Ghana, it was their last place before they were put on boats and shipped all across the world. So if you do your bloodline and learn where you're from, you know, if you're from Ghana, that was like the last stop before they ushered them off to America and other places around the world, of course. But to be inside of a live slave dungeon was surreal. You know, you can feel our ancestors and the energy there so much throughout the walk of the dungeon, the tour of the dungeon. And for me, it just explains why African American people, or just black people in general, why we're so resilient, why we are so able to make it out of anything. Because to survive that, and then to make the journey to America, you had to be what they call survival of the fittest. Not every black person made that trip. So me being African American, I wanted to just pay homage and show love to the ancestors who endured all those horrible things so I could have life.
Wow. That's beautiful, because I also went to Elmina Castle, and it was a heartbreaking sight for me to see, but I learned that if you can make it all the way from your home country to go to a completely different country that you never learned about before, that's big. Let's go into the aspect of journalism.
Okay.
So why did you want to become a journalist?
You know, it's interesting. I went to college. I was at Hampton University. The truth of the matter was I was a junior in college, and I have friends who were seniors, and they didn't have jobs. And I was like, wait a minute, they don't teach you that in college. They teach you if you go to college, you're going to get this $1 million job, and life, it really doesn't work that way. So my junior year in college, I really started thinking about what I wanted to do. And at the time, I was like, if I could have anybody's job, it would be Carson Daly. And he was an MTV VJ. And when I looked further into that, he started off in radio. So then I was like, okay, let me start off as a radio personality to make that transition. And literally that's how it started. But I love it because I love to ask questions. I love being around celebrities, and radio and journalism in itself has completely changed my whole life, and I'll be forever grateful for it.
Wow. I like that because everybody has their own story, and your story seems very beautiful.
Thank you. And you're super amazing. I'm so happy that I don't even do interviews because I'm an interviewer, so I don't like to do interviews. But for you, and you're super amazing. I feel like you're like Oprah in the making, so I'm honored to have this interview with you.
Thank you. So I want to know, like, how Charlemagne, that has he ever been compared to other journalists, and how did he overcome that harsh criticism that people gave to him at times?
We have similar, like I said in the beginning, we're really good friends. We call each other Darkness, and we have similar interview styles. And we'll ask a question that might seem to be tough, but it's the question that needs to be asked. And regardless of the backlash from the person you're asking, because it's not always a celebrity, your duty is to the viewers, right? So you have to be the person that is going to ask the question that the viewers want to know. And he's always been amazingly well at that. He's a bona fide celebrity. And I've always been so happy because I've been a part of his journey for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
So before he was Charlemagne that everybody knows, we were friends. And I was like, you got it. Like, you got it. Like, literally, right before we were working together in Philly, he lost his job in Philly. Before Power happened, and it's actually in his book. If you read his first book, he talks about this. He lost it all. He had no job. His first daughter was just born. And him and his now wife had to relocate and live with his parents down in South Carolina. And for a year, he didn't have a job. And I remember throughout that whole year, I just kept speaking life into him. And I was like, this is God's doing. Man has no power. So if God allowed this to happen, then God allowed it to happen. But enjoy this moment in your life, because the next moment you're going to be so busy that you're going to wish you had the moments you have right now. And that was just like me speaking onto him for that whole year, because I knew he was so talented. Like, if you out of a job, it's only for a moment. Like, you got it. Like, it's like if Beyonce broke her leg, God forbid, once that leg heals, can't nobody do nothing with it. Like, all the girls, collect your coins, because this is your break that Beyonce's blessing you with, because we all know once Beyonce gets it together, game over. And it's the same thing that happened to him. And I didn't really realize, honestly, how me saying those words to him were so powerful until he shared it in his book. And he shared, like, how that time period, not having anything, me saying those things to him was one of the things that just kind of reminded him, like, we get so caught up in all these things. We're backstage at Chance the Rapper, and it's great, right?
Yeah.
And these are moments, but at the end of the day, our last breath, I'm not sure if this is going to be the moment we're going to be thinking of. We're going to be thinking of the moment with your family, with your mom, with your dad. So sometimes we overlook those moments because of these grand moments. But really, the small moments are the most important.
Yes, I agree with you. I have two last questions, actually. What does the words Black Star Line Festival mean to you?
Wow, that's a good one. Black Star Line Festival. I don't want to give a cheesy answer. I don't know if it means anything to me, to be honest, other than just black excellence, black power, Chance the Rapper. It's so funny because I got here, right? And I've been here since New Year's Eve, and I've been partying, child. And then I haven't. But yesterday there was a conversation that Chance did with Dave Chappelle. And I was like, oh, it brought it all back home, why we're here and why Chance is so dope. Like, why Chance is so dope. Chance is one of the biggest stars, and Dave Chappelle too, and they're very peculiar how they align their star power. They don't just align their star power with anything. And the fact that Chance decided that Ghana is so important, and the presence of African Americans coming back to Ghana is so important that he decided to throw a festival, which I believe is the first of many, speaks volumes to the kind of person that he is. Yeah.
I agree with you completely.
So what's the last? We got one question left. What's the
Yes. Have you learned any new words since you've been here in Ghana?
Oh my God, Akwabe, is that?
Yes.
Okay, Akwabe. What does it mean?
It means welcome.
Oh, Akwabe. Look, you put
Akwaba.
me on the spot. Akwaba. I'm not even saying it right. Your mom's helping me. Akwaba. 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 Akwaba.
Well, guys, thank you so much, and see you next time on Summertime.
Woo, 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 woo.